You're listening to Big World Network.
Accidental Passion, Episode 10, Discovery, read by Meagan Hedin. Warning: although there is no material subject matter within that couldn't be found in any general bookstore with no age constraint, this series is rated 18 and contains adult situations and content. It is intended for mature audiences only and should not be read if you are uncomfortable with graphic sexual intimacy. Woods was not having a very productive day so far. He had spent the morning at the airport in Detroit speaking with the private security responsible for the General Aviation Services Company that provided Ryan with maintenance and hangar space for his jet. They hadn't been too eager to watch hours of video, nor did they want to release copies of the stored video to Woods. Finally, a compromise was reached and they agreed to let Woods sift through days of video on his own in their office. If Ryan hadn't been a famous client and long-term customer of the aviation services operator, Woods was convinced he wouldn't have been allowed to even have access to the video as a private investigator. He had been able to narrow down the window of time with Ryan, which would have started when he had returned from his previous trip to LA. It still left a fair amount of video Woods would have to scan through, but it was a start. Holding a styrofoam cup with what he was sure was 2-day-old coffee reheated from the outer security office, Woods settled down in front of a computer monitor. One of the security guards stood behind him for a few minutes, showing him how to access the video files from the external hard drives and how to adjust the playback speed. After killing the morning convincing them to give him access to the videos, Woods was sure he would be spending the entire afternoon and most of tomorrow looking through them, but it was better than nothing. Taking a sip of the turbid coffee, he retrieved the video from the arrival date of the last flight Ryan had made and selected the approximate time he had landed to begin playback. There were about 6 camera views, but Woods minimized all but 3 boxes of playback on the computer monitor. One for the ramp side of the hangar, one for the parking lot outside the hangar, and one inside the hangar. He was disappointed to see the one inside the hangar didn't have Ryan's jet in the field of view, but only the entrance and tool area to the hangar and just a couple of the aircraft. He sighed and settled back into the roller chair and watched the videos play back at 5 times normal speed. On the ramp side of the hangar, he watched as Ryan's jet taxied onto the parking ramp and shut down. It was amusing watching him climb out at high speed and walk towards the hangar. Then, one of the line service personnel pulled up with a tug and hooked it up to the front of the jet. After connecting the tug to the front wheel of the nose gear, the worker opened the aircraft door and climbed into the cabin, presumably to make sure the brakes were off in the cockpit. Moments later, he emerged at the opening of the cabin door and was clearly visibly sticking several small individual-sized bottles of booze into his pants pocket. His tip. Woods smiled. He would have to tell Ryan to keep a better eye on his stores for his passengers. He diverted his attention back to watching Ryan walk through the hangar and towards the parking lot exit on the backside of the hangar where the jet was being pushed back with the tug, out of the view of the ramp camera and into the hangar. As he watched Ryan stop in the hangar to talk to a maintenance technician, his cell phone vibrated in his pocket. Fishing for it from his pocket and glancing at the screen for a second to check the caller ID, Woods noted that it was a New York City area code as he slid his finger across the screen to answer it. "Hello, this is Woods." "Hi, I'm the editor you had left a voicemail for this morning." "From the tabloid?" Woods asked for confirmation, continuing to watch the monitor in front of him. "We like to think of ourselves as an entertainment journal, but yes, from the tabloid," the man chuckled from the other end. Woods had always been direct and not always the most tactful, more than likely a result of his years on the Los Angeles police force as a detective. He called things the way he saw them and wasn't always politically correct. "Well, thanks for returning my call," Woods replied. "Listen, I know you can't reveal sources, but this doesn't involve anything you ran. Do you remember the image of the author that went viral on the internet a couple weeks ago?" "How could I forget? We ran a copy of it ourselves." "I'm just trying to find out from several editors of, entertainment journals if anyone tried to sell you the image before it was released." Woods was already directing his concentration back to the videos and was ready to hang up after the man gave him a negative answer. "Yes, someone did. His bitch publicist," came the voice from the other end. It took Woods a moment to realize his answer, and he immediately clicked the mouse to pause the video playback before replying. "Say that again? You're telling me his own publicist tried to sell you the damaging image?" "Sure, that sort of thing happens all the time. A good half of sex tapes are released by the media personality themselves or by their own publicists for image reasons, or just for the ridiculous amounts of exposure. The editor took a short breath on the other end. She wanted me to pay for it, though, and I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I have dealt with her before, and she is even more conniving than most agents and publicists. The bitch once fucked me thinking I would give her some extra coverage. Did you? Woods asked idly, not really caring. Hell yes, I did. She is a knockout and didn't disappoint, if you know what I mean. I appreciate your frankness, so why didn't you buy the original picture? We aren't always known for scruples, I know, but something bothered me about the entire thing. First, I like the guy. He's always given us quotes in interviews when we asked. Second, she was asking for a ridiculous amount, something we would never pay for just a photo to run, unless it was the Pope himself caught in an impassioned embrace with Madonna. The editor laughed at his own joke. I'm guessing no one was willing to pay what she was asking. So why didn't she take the best offer instead of releasing it to everyone for nothing? Woods asked. Because that isn't the way she operates. She's a spiteful whore, and if she doesn't get what she wants, she would rather lose everything than appear weak or flexible. As I said, she's a bitch. Woods was beginning to see that, even though he had never really been a big fan of his friend's publicist. Well, thank you. I appreciate your getting back to me. You said you were a private investigator in your message. Whom are you working for? I really am not about to tell a tabloid editor that, Woods laughed. Fair enough. If it's our boy Ryan, let him know we passed it on, even if we did run a copy later. He's been good to us. Woods disconnected and slid the phone back into his pocket before settling back to watch the video and taking another sip of the burned, stale coffee. As the 3 displays began to play again, he watched as the lower one of the parking lot showed a motorcycle parking and a man getting off with a build similar to Rick's. It couldn't be this easy, Woods thought, as he watched Ryan on the middle display box finish talking to the mechanic. The playback was now set to real time, and as he watched the man pass Ryan on the parking lot side and enter the door behind him, it was clear that he was trying to conceal himself from Ryan. As Ryan walked to his car on the lower display, Woods now watched as the man came through the hangar door on the inside view. Once inside, the man stopped and looked around. Woods paused the video by clicking the mouse and sat back in his seat, not believing his luck and good fortune in not having to watch hours of video. It was Rick. Son of a bitch, Woods said slowly under his breath.
This has been a presentation of Big World Network. Visit us on bigworldnetwork.com for more free weekly series, or follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Thanks for listening.
You're listening to Big World Network.